You want me to hit the record?
Alrighty, so I am here with Assistant Chief Howell from Hartford Police Department in honor of Black History Month. And we're here really just hearing the stories and background of the leaders that we have across the city of Hartford. And we are really incredibly honored that you accepted our invitation to be interviewed here today. How are you, Chief Howell? Assistant
Good.
Chief
How are
Howell.
you doing?
I'm
And
doing great.
that's awesome. And thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, as you know, we have a few questions that we just want to ask relative to kind of like your background, your upbringing. So, if you can just bring us into your world in terms of your hometown, your family of origin, we would love to hear that about you.
Absolutely. So I grew up in New Haven. I was born and raised in New Haven, Connecticut. Um, my mother, she had 6 children. I was number 5. Yeah. Uh, I did not know my dad. I guess he left the family when I was 5 years old. I've tried to locate him many times, but I have been unsuccessful. Um, just wanted to know the man. Um, but I give my mother a lot of credit because she raised a lot, what was there, 5 boys, and my sister, all, pretty much all by herself. So I always like to give praise to my mom for all that she has done, and for helping me develop into the person I am. So she uh, was born and raised in New Haven too.
Well, thank you so much for being vulnerable enough to share that with us. So, can you talk to me a little bit more about your family of origin in terms of, you said your mom's from New Haven, but do you know any farther back on either side of your family? How far?
Yeah, absolutely. So my mother is Portuguese and African American. Um, her mother came from, I believe it was Portugal, um, and they settled in New Haven. Um, and my father is Hispanic, um, and he is from Puerto Rico, and he came to New Haven and had me, and went back allegedly. And like I've said before, I've tried to locate him, but he's very good at what he does, which is not to be found. Um, but yeah, that's basically it. So she's African American and Portuguese, and my father's Hispanic.
Interesting. And you said that you are one of 6 children?
I am. I am. I had
Okay.
3 older brothers. Um, one is actually he has uh, a mental disability. I'm his guardian. Uh, but it was rough with the other 2 brothers because they're older than me. And needless to say, if I didn't get my bowl of cereal before they woke up, I wasn't going to have any cereal. So um, there's
Um,
that. And then I have an older sister and then just my younger brother.
so honing those leadership skills early in the family,
Yes,
right?
yes, getting up early. That taught
Yes.
me get up early, get that bowl of cereal.
Awesome, awesome. Then, and again, thank you so much for being so willing to share. I think that it's so important that we're able to, like, humanize our leaders, right? And so the work that you do at the City of Hartford is critically important, Assistant Chief of Hartford Police Department. So how long have you worked for the city, and what attracted you to not just this position in the city, but attracted you to a career in law enforcement?
Okay, so I've been with Hartford as long as you have. We're twins. So it's December of 2020. We got hired basically the same week, and so it's just over
30th.
3 years. Um, so yeah, law enforcement. I had not always wanted to be a law enforcement officer. I wanted to be a famous chef. That was my dream, right? So I actually went to Eli Whitney technical school, and I learned how to cook. And I was going to apply to American Institute of America, the American Institute of Culinary Arts. Um, so I had that pathway, I thought, but the man upstairs, God, had a different pathway for me. So, like I said, I grew up in New Haven, and during that time, I got on the police department in like 1991. Um, the police were not as kind to the community. So I witnessed a lot of what I believe to be abuse at the time. And um, my inner self spoke to me and said, I need to do something about this. And I didn't know what to do because police officers didn't come from the communities I came from. My mother, she grew up, she was on welfare. All her children were products of welfare, and I didn't know what to do. So I had a lot of soul searching. But it came to a point where I couldn't tolerate it anymore. And believe it or not, so I became a security officer to make some extra money. And around 12, literally, I remember this, around 12:20-ish in the morning, I was getting off shift, and I heard a commercial saying, do you want to make change in your community? Do you want to make a difference? Then you should become a police officer. And literally, from that moment on, I'll never forget that night. I remember the street I was on and everything. I said, that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a police officer, and I am going to change my community. Well, the community didn't accept that because there was no cops from my neighborhood. Um, but somehow they managed to believe, okay, we'll support you on this. Um, and I applied and applied, and I applied to New Haven Police Department several times. I think I applied 13 or 14 times before I got on a police department. Literally, and Karen, I'm not afraid to tell the story that I was a finalist in a particular police department, and I was wondering why I wasn't getting hired. So I called and kept calling and calling, and they said, literally, you are not what we want. You come from a community where there's prostitutes outside, there's drug dealers outside, and you don't even have a bed. You sleep on a mattress. We don't want this in our community. And I pleaded with the sergeant. I remember it was a sergeant. And I said, listen, I have a daughter and I need to try to do better. I'm trying to do better. And I want to help my community. And they said, sorry, I remember it. Sorry, Kenny, we don't want you here. Good luck in your future. And that was that. And but finally I got on the New Haven Police Department, and here I am today.
Wow. We're so thankful that you're so persistent, right? Um, and this actually is such a testament to the importance of equity in decision-making processes and the talent that we leave behind when we're assuming that we know people's stories before they have an opportunity to share them with us. Um, but this other thing is also kind of tripping me up. Assistant Chef Howell.
Oh, I know. Well, that was my dream. Hey, I want to cook,
Oh,
and,
wow. Okay.
and
I love that. I
I
love
still got
that.
a little bit of cooking in me, but
Oh, just a little bit? Just a little.
this was the path God chose for me, and I embraced it, and I love it, and I have no regrets.
Wow. And we're so grateful to have you here at the City of Hartford. And I hope that the folks that passed your application up 14 times get to see you today. And I hope that even, a certain someone who's good at not being found gets to see you today so that they can be so proud of who
Well,
you
thank you.
are, because this is incredible. I wasn't even expecting for this interview to unfold in this particular way. Um, so I'm going to ask you this question, but you kind of already answered it. So how is your work making or contributing to Black history in the city of Hartford?
Yeah, so you know, February is a good month. It's Black History Month, but every day, March, April, May, I wish people would pay more attention. But this month allows you to pay more attention to, I believe it's a reminder, right? It's a struggle of our people, our heritage, what has been overcome in the past, and what is more important is that we haven't done this alone. A lot of times we get caught up believing, right? Oh, I've done this, I've done this. Well, it's nice that you've given a lot of effort and you get the credit that you so deserve. However, we cannot forget the people who paved the way for us. So this month allows that attention and stuff like this, interviews. And for me, like I said, it goes on and on and on without the February. But this allows for that attention. And I enjoy it. And I enjoy mostly talking to young men and women. And that's, I think, is the key here is that it's the youth, right, that we need to hit and to remind them of what were all the sacrifices in the past for you to be here. And I like to tell a version of my story because, like your face, which I've seen a lot, when I tell the story, they don't believe it. Um, that happened, and it helps motivate people, inspire people. My God, if he's done this, I can do it. And you can do it. It just takes discipline. It takes, I like to say this when I talk to people, it takes, uh, you need a purpose. You need a why. When you discover what that why is, that will be your driving force. And a lot of the young men and women, sometimes they're like, well, I don't have a why. Well, you know what my why was back then? I didn't know myself. I was a young man. I had a picture of my daughter at the end of my mattress. And when I went to sleep, I saw my daughter. When I went to, when I woke up in the morning, I saw my daughter, and that was one of my driving forces. My mother, who raised the 6 kids on welfare, who I watched sit in a room by herself, wondering if she's doing the right thing for her kids. My driving forces. Okay, and then once you have that, you have to have the discipline. I tell people you have to have the discipline to do what you need to do. I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I hit the gym. I get in audio tapes while I'm in the gym, motivational tapes, or learning a new skill or something. I do this. I don't waste a moment of the day. And the last thing is no excuses. So listen, we all have had problems, right? I just told you 14 times. It was I think 13 or 14 that I was pretty much dismissed. You see the 15th time that sits in front of you. If I stopped before then, you would never be talking to me today. So there's no excuses. Okay, the world is a tough world. It's really tough out there, but you got to have a mentality that you got to have no excuse. You have to move forward. You have to accomplish this. We're put here for a reason, and we must realize that reason.
Wow. Looking at the 15th time. I love that. I love that. And you literally are amongst one of the highest ranking leaders in Hartford Police Department, which is so interesting that your talent would have been left on the table if people were assuming that you weren't capable based on what you look like or where you lived, right? So
Yeah, I agree. And the person who said that to me years ago, the sergeant, that we don't want you here because we don't want this in our community. If you look at it, I could be the chief of that department. I could be the chief of any police department in the state and many other. So that's the irony of it, right? This person told me, we don't want you. And now I could actually be their chief.
there's a thought.
But I
I can
love
tell
it
you have
here.
a good heart. You're not going to do
No, I love it here.
that. Awesome. So, what do you find to be the most meaningful thing about your position and about serving the residents of Hartford?
So it's basically that. So I'm here for a reason, I believe, because so real quick, I retired from New Haven after 21 years of service. I then became a chief of police in Millbury, Massachusetts. So my mother passed in 2011. I would have never left Connecticut, but because I was taking care of her. So then I went to Massachusetts, was a chief for 3 years. But then I came back and I'm an attorney. I think you know that. So oh, you
I did
didn't?
not know that.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry, chef, attorney, chef, assistant chief. I did not know that, but go ahead.
Yes.
Can you
So I'm
also
an
tell us
attorney.
a little bit at some point about how you, but
Sure.
yes.
So I'm an attorney, and so I spent 5 years out of policing, and I was able to explore and do certain things. And July of 2020, I got a call. Hartford Police Department's interested in you. The chief would like to speak to you. He's heard about the things you've done. That doesn't happen to me. Okay, everything I've gotten, and I appreciate that is tough. And to get a call out of nowhere on my birthday month that says the Hartford Police Department's interested in you, uh, you know, that was amazing. And so I'm here for a reason. And I think the reason is so I can connect with people to tell my story, to help people through their stories. When I was a young man in the city of New Haven, I felt invisible. I really did. Um, there was a police officer doing radar on Chapel Street in New Haven. There's a black police officer. He's in his car. I was invisible. He turned around and said, "Come here, hey kid, come here." I was scared. I was scared to death. Um, he said, "You want to know what I'm doing?" And he showed me. He was doing radar. That cop helped change me. That cop, because he took that time, and that's why I'm a big proponent of community policing. That moment made me no longer invisible, but I was now a visible being because a police officer in authority said, "Kid, come here. I want to spend some time with you." And then he took off, but I'll never forget that. I don't even know that he knows he's done that. Um, he could be watching this as an older man and not realize or go, "Wait a minute, that's the kid." So I love connecting with people. I love to do my part. And the best part of leadership and what judges you as a good leader is when you leave, what have you left behind? And I like to believe I left something behind in New Haven, in Massachusetts when I was a chief. And I'd like to believe I leave something behind here in Hartford. And you never know how you are affecting a person. You just never know. So you always have to be available. You always have to be there. You got to put your stuff to the side. And if you're going to be a leader, you have to be there for people. And that's what is so meaningful about this city, is because it's similar to New Haven. It's multicultural, it's multi-diverse. I can help people. I remember being in Massachusetts, great town, beautiful town, but I said, I don't feel like I can help someone here because everything was like really okay. And I was like, I want to help people. This is the community.
Wow. That's amazing. So it's amazing to hear how you have taken up the mantle of leadership in your personal life, how you've done it professionally. Um, Really, really inspiring. And I know that this interview is going to touch the lives of a lot of people. And shout out to the person who helped to give you an opportunity to kind of feel what it was like to be visible and to be a person in the community helping, a person who gave you a chance to kind of test it out. I love that.
Yes,
Can you
shout out to
tell
him.
us, shout out to him, whoever that may be in New Haven? What ties or connections do you have to the city of Hartford, and why is Hartford specifically meaningful to you?
Okay, so um, right off the rip, I was sworn in as an attorney in Hartford. So it's at the United States Supreme Court. I mean, the Connecticut Supreme Court. I'm sworn in as an attorney. So when I drive through the city, I remember that day because uh, I wasn't supposed to be an attorney. I wasn't supposed to be a cop. I was supposed to literally, um, if you look at statistically, as a black male in the city of New Haven, I was supposed to be dead before I reached the age of 25, statistically. So when I drive by that Supreme Court, I just remember um, that day that I got sworn in. So there's a connection that will never go away. Secondly, when I was a New Haven police officer, I would come to Hartford because I arrested people, right, in the city of New Haven. And you don't want to encounter uh, people that you've arrested. And believe it or not, Karen, I had a hit on my head of $20,000 if someone could take me out. I was so there was that. So what I did is I frequent Hartford. I frequent the nightlife. I frequent the restaurants, entertainment. It was my getaway from New Haven. So that's the connection here. I think I already explained the meaningfulness. It's like being at home because of all the diversity, the multicultural. I enjoy that the most.
So you developed a love for the city even before you worked in this city.
Yes,
Hmm.
but you know, there's our path. These paths are strange because when I went to Massachusetts, there was two things they kept saying to me. They said, "You're the guy from Harvard University, and you're the guy from Hartford Police Department." I said, "I'm from neither. I've never went to Harvard University." I said, I'm a kid from New Haven. I can never go, you know, and I'm not from Hartford Police Department. I'm from New Haven Police Department. Well, guess what, Karen? A year later, I got accepted into Harvard University. This is a true story. This is a true story. I go to Harvard, or 2 years later, um, and now I'm a Harvard cop. Isn't that strange? So years ago, in 2013, they said, "You're the guy from Harvard University, and you're the guy from Hartford Police Department." Strange. I'll never forget that.
I call those road signs.
Yes.
They're road
So,
signs, lifetime road signs.
yeah, amazing. So I guess I was destined to be here.
Absolutely. And what were you doing at Harvard?
Oh, I got a master's in public administration degree.
Oh, nothing, just nothing, just over there, just getting a master's.
But it was a proud moment for me because my mom, she had to see it from above because she had passed by the time, but she would have loved it. Her because she thought failed in certain ways because she didn't have things for us. She so you know hopefully she saw that, and I contribute. I dedicate every success to her because she helped me become who I am.
Well, there may have been certain material things that she could not give you, but she has definitely given you the most important things, I think. Oh, goodness. A tearful interview today. My work twin.
Yeah,
This has been an absolute pleasure and a joy. What would you say to other people who are considering either coming to the city to work or people who are considering a career in law enforcement or working for Hartford Police Department? What would you say to folks who have that sort of interest in being municipal government employees, glamorous as it is?
absolutely. So, one, I would say research it. Make sure this is something that you want to do, right? Because people see the stuff on TV about policing and so forth, and that's some of what we do. But if you don't want to effectuate change, if you don't want to help a person, I always say this, there's urban policing and there's suburban policing. So I was a New Haven cop, that was urban policing. Um, and now I'm a Hartford cop. My department in Massachusetts was a very suburban type department. So that was a different type of way, right? There was no one for me to actually help as far as having similarities as I had. Um, so you have to want to help people. You have to be able to have a bad day and still come into work and help a person through their bad or worse day. So research is important. Look it up, see what the job really entails. And then if you want to talk to me, I'm willing to talk to anyone about this job. And I can say this, it has been the most rewarding job I've ever had in my entire life. Okay. This job, where else can you? I can walk anywhere right now in this uniform and I'm known for this, like in New Haven, I sit on a porch with a guy or a gal and I just talk to them. Just sit on the porch. Where could you do that? I mean, someone else, without someone saying, "Why are you sitting on my porch? What do you want from me?" I could do that. I can go into a homeless shelter like I have, and I could talk to, people don't understand that a lot of people who don't have things have the best stories. if you just listen to them, you can learn so much from them, right? You can learn so much from a cab driver. You can learn, so you have to be humble enough that you want to learn. You have to be able to want to help people. And this job, it's very satisfying. And I would encourage anyone to do it who want to do it for the right reasons. You have to want it to do it for the right reasons. And you will feel so uh, accomplished that, when I retired for that 5 years, I already felt like I did, I did so much in New Haven. And guy was like, "You're not done yet. I got to bring you up to Hartford." So I have another chance. So I appreciate that opportunity. This is a diverse community. This is something that if you love to be in a community like this is it. Hartford is dynamic. There's entertainment. There's so much going on here. So I would encourage someone to actually look into being a Hartford police officer. And the last thing I'm going to say is, if you go to a small town, you don't have what we have, which is upward mobility. I have done everything, pretty much undercover, SWAT, everything because it's a big city. I had a person who graduated with me in the police academy, and they are a sergeant, which is fine to be a sergeant, but they wanted to go up the ranks on midnights to this day, driving a cruiser on midnights, which is honorable again, but he wanted to move up the ranks, but he didn't have the opportunity. I've done everything, detective, everything. So consider that when you're looking into the Hartford Police Department, that you will have upward mobility. But I insist and I demand that you have to be able to put aside what's going on in your life to help an unfortunate person. You have to be committed to people. You have to.
Wow. Anything that I haven't asked you today that you want to share, or a final word that you want to, you gave us a lot. So if you have nothing additional, listen, you owe us nothing.
No, I
Leaving this
understand.
interview.
You sound like me in the meetings, right? I'm like, you don't have to say anything if you don't want.
It's
All
up
I
to, I
have to
mean,
say
yeah,
is
no, you owe us nothing, but we would love to hear. But if you, anything
yes.
additional you want to say or share?
No, I just want to thank you for having me on, and hopefully this will inspire someone, right? And I want to, I always have that invitation to someone who wants to talk to me. If they want to talk to me, talk to me, call me. I'm here. I'm your Assistant Chief of Police in the City of Hartford. Call me up. And if you want to have coffee, let's do it. It's not about me, it's about the person, because we are here for a time period on this earth. And I want to do all I can do to effectuate the best change I can. And then I move on. And that's all.
Wow. Deeply inspiring. And all of those folks that you referred to earlier, talking about the people who came before us, who paved the way, I know that there are folks who are looking at you and saying, wow, this is a person who is paving the way for me to do the things that I want to do in life, whether it be apparently Harvard, Hartford, attorney, police, chef, or even if, you're coming from a family that might not have as much, right? But you're saying to yourself, what will my legacy be? What will my life be? I think that you're an incredible example of that. I'm so honored that we had the opportunity to hear your authentic story. So important to be able to talk to leaders in this capacity. And we are very proud to have you here at Hartford. And thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.